Hello, welcome to The Truths. Kim Kardashian has changed her hair from yellow blonde to platinum blonde, but it's the 50th anniversary of the Selma Civil Rights Marches, so perhaps we shouldn't be talking about the colour of Kim Kardashian's hair, but the colour of her husband. Are black people now in a better position than they were 50 years ago? We've got a black president in America, so what's going on?
In Madison, Wisconsin, there are protests after the shooting of an African-American teenager by a white police officer against the backdrop of that extraordinary ceremony Saturday. President Obama leading 40,000 people in Selma, Alabama, 50 years after that bloody confrontation on the Edmund Pettus Bridge.
What value does a ceremonial march have, even if led by nominally the most powerful man in the world, the black president of the United States, Barack Obama, while simultaneously another 19-year-old unarmed African-American teenager is shot by a white police officer?
We just need to open our eyes and our ears and our hearts to know that this nation's racial history still casts its long shadow upon us.
Well, Barack Obama, isn't it confusing? Because he seems like such a nice, lovely man. He's president of the United States of America. He's black, and yet racism seems to be a prevalent and divisive issue. Doesn't that kind of tell you that the President of the United States doesn't have sufficient power to change things? So where is that power? If the President of the United States can't change things, if the President of the United States can't defend or protect his own citizens, where is the power that you would think would be in the office of presidency and in the form of government? Where does that power actually reside?
All this in a week where the Justice Department revealed a pattern of racist practices in Ferguson, Missouri,
which found a pattern of racial bias in Ferguson policing.
The report revealed the department's routine practices of racial bias against black residents. Routine practices of racial... Like routine, if you think about what that means unthinking. Clean your teeth, put on my deodorant, be racist to the black men. Hey, what are you being racist for? What? Oh no, you made me drop my racism there. It's unthinking.
The report also detailing racist emails sent by city employees.
The 102-page report released by Holder today detailed examples of a police department out of control, routinely insulting and assaulting African Americans.
Routinely insult, assault.
And use of dogs by Ferguson police appears to have been exclusively reserved for African Americans.
We're going to use the dogs here. Well, I think there's some white people. Good point. We won't use them. Wait till we have our exclusive black people model to observe.
Among the most damning evidence, emails, including ones allegedly sent by department leaders that included racist jokes and depicted President Obama as a chimpanzee. In one email forwarded by officials, a picture of bare-chested African women dancing was captioned, "Michelle Obama's high school reunion."
Evidence of an attitude that is connected to the routine racism, insults and assaults and use of dogs. If you look at Niall Fort's piece in The Guardian, he makes some really interesting points about how the racism in America is not just about police brutality, but an all-pervasive racism that just finds its most expressive and obvious form in police brutality. It's everywhere, but you don't notice it until it becomes vivid and pronounced in the form of brutality. He says that the report demonstrates that America itself is fundamentally racist and anti-black. He says that what we're dealing with is not individuals like that, the copper that got off from doing the killing, Darren Wilson or whatever he's called. What we're talking about is just and or unjust systems. The most insidious form of racism manifests in institutions, not individuals, in systems, not personal feelings. And this is a broader issue even than race, that if the systems themselves are corrupt, if the institutions themselves are corrupt, it doesn't matter if you have a president who is black, with a wife who is black, with children who are black, with intentions that are good, that wrote a book that seemed very inspiring and like a man who had a genuine and legitimate intention to make the world a better place. That is irrelevant. He's just a person coming into a system that is totally corrupt. But what does it say about America? An America that has a black first family, has black superstars like Kanye West married to their Kim Kardashian with her ever-shifting hair colour, and superstars like Jay-Z and Beyonce. doesn't the prominence and prevalence of such powerful black cultural figures and indeed political figures mean that actually America has changed? It doesn't seem to mean that, does it? So what does that mean?
Another message in June 2011 compared dogs to African Americans, suggesting the animals needed welfare because they were mixed in color, unemployed, lazy, can't speak English, and have no freaking clue who their daddies are.
If that's how you think, it's easier to hit people with a baton and then one day shoot someone dead if you're already thinking of them in animal terms. All of these emails indicate a reductive and condemnatory comparison of black people to animals, which is very, very common in racist societies, Nazi Germany being just one example.
One of the persons who was sending these emails was actually the head of the municipal court system. Her name is Mary Twitter. We have a picture of her with a couple of other city officials, including Darren Wilson.
I mean, that's literally institutionalized racism. They're in charge of an institution and they think in the terms described. So having a black president or Jay-Z and Beyonce as prevalent cultural figures begins to look not like progress, but merely an abstracted demonstration of a dislocated form of black power. Like the power is irrelevant. If it doesn't impact on that level, what you need is black court officials, black CEOs of major corporations. And what it makes me think is that power is emanating from and contained within a bandwidth that is not affected by politics. The great unstated problem in the narrative of American life or the life of Western secular democracies in general is that the power is not held at a governmental level, it's held at the level of transnational corporations. So whatever's going on in the conversation of popular culture, oh look, there's a woman from Armenia married to a prominent black man, Jay-Z and Beyonce are two of the biggest stars in the world, the President of the United States is a black man. All of that is irrelevant. It isn't progress, it's just a symbol, and in fact, if anything, represents a deterioration of the power of politics, because you can have a black president who can't make any impact. You would think, wouldn't you, that Barack Obama, President of the United States, could overnight go, this stops, this Ferguson thing, this stops. We're scrapping the entire police force, we're replacing it with a completely new, ideologically led institution that's going to treat people fairly and justly based on the constitution that we already have that says all men are created equal. So what it shows us is that Barack Obama being black and being president isn't a demonstration of progress, but a demonstration that politics itself has no power, that politics itself is simply an institution that enacts power for the truly powerful transnational corporations. That the police are not, their institutional racism is irrelevant because they are merely the henchmen of the truly powerful. The henchmen of the truly powerful. Their power is only the power to be brutal. So whilst their brutality is visceral, vivid and ugly, it's irrelevant when compared to the power that happens in the elite strands of true governance that is the transnational corporate world.
Among other findings, that Ferguson police disproportionately targeted African Americans, with 85% of vehicle stops, 90% of citations, and 93% of arrests, even though 67% of the Ferguson population is black.
What you want is the institutions that are dominated by white people to be broken up and disassembled so that power can truly be with the people. And until you change that, you will get situations like this and comparable situations where ordinary people the world over are oppressed, maligned and even shot dead on the streets, regardless of the colour of their president, regardless of the colour of Kim Kardashian's hair or Kim Kardashian's husband.
People are upset about some things, darling.
Why are they yelling?
They want attention. They're trying to get attention so that people will listen to them.
This is our way of trying to get some media attention because they are ignoring us, they're ignoring the anti-war movement, they're ignoring the anti-government movement. We love our country, but we cannot trust our government anymore.